You're listening to Ask When, the podcast. Folks from all walks of life talk about their daily hustle and bustle, living and celebrating life, sharing tips on becoming champions, especially for those who are muscling mental and physical disabilities. Ask When, the podcast, with your host who has mustered over 30 years living with cerebral palsy and going strong. Author and cerebral palsy advocate Wynn Charles. Ask When, the podcast starts right now.
Welcome to Ask When, everyone. Today I have Regena with me, and I'm going to let Regena take it away and see how we roll. And so welcome, Regena.
Thank you so much, Wynn. It's so nice to be here with you. Thanks for having me on the show today.
It's so nice to have you. And Regena, could you please explain to my fan base more about what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I actually am a transformation catalyst. And what that is basically I support people in shifting areas of their life that is not working. For example, if someone is feeling conflict at work, or they're struggling with limiting beliefs, whether it be in their personal life or professional life or spiritually, I help shift them into, as I say, congruency and help them better align with their soul's mission and purpose.
Well, where were you when I decided to quit my job and quit my job on March 13th due to I actually got laid off, you guys. I got laid off because they didn't have a plan put in place yet. My ex-job didn't have a plan put in place yet. And so I said, well, I'm not waiting around until you. Bye, guys. And so, yeah.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, there's all kinds of situations that happen, right, in our life. So what I found is that sometimes people just need a little bit of support and sometimes a lot of support. And, you know, I've learned the hard way that it's not always right in front of us. The answers are not always right in front of us,
No.
but when we're able to see them, we can really make some miracles happen, and we just have to be open to those miracles.
Oh, yes, we do. Oh, yes, we do. Now, if you had to move house and take 5 things with you, what would they be?
If I had to move, oh, that's a good question. And I was only allowed to take 5 things with me?
Yes. 5
Oh
things.
my. 5 things. Okay, so I think I would definitely take my iPad because I love reading. And so if I could only take electronic books with me, I think that would be the way that I would do it, because that way, you know, I'd have all my books. Of course, I'd bring a teddy bear because I love teddy bears. And so I'd bring at least one teddy bear. I have a really cool stuffed turtle that I would take with me. So we'll call that my stuffed turtle. And then I would take with me my yoga mat because I love to do yoga and I'm a yoga instructor. So that's a big part of my life. And then I would bring with me a angel deck of cards because I pull cards almost every day. And so I feel like that's a thing that's really important. And then my journal. And that comes with a pen. So that's like a 5 1/4.
And if your best friend had to write a book about you, what would the title be?
What would the title be of a book? That's interesting. Probably Creating Success Out of the Mess. Yeah,
Creating
I think that's
success out of the mess.
Yeah, because I've done that a couple times where I've been told often that I turn lemons into lemonade, and so I think that's probably what most people would say.
Yep. And what is your favorite book and what is the title?
My favorite book. I think my favorite book is There's so many, but I really like Shel Silverstein, and the name of the book right at this second that's escaping me, but it's The Picture with the Tree. It's got the picture of
I
the
know.
tree.
I
You know which one I'm talking
know
about?
exactly what book you're talking about, and
Oh,
I'm
good.
looking to see if I have it on my bookshelf, and of course I do. Thank you very much.
Oh,
In
I love
hard
it.
copy, and I can't tell what the title is. You guys, I can't tell what the title is, but I will tell you one thing. Any book by Shel Silverstein is a terrific book.
I agree. Yep.
Any book by Shel Silverstein is a terrific book. And so, yeah, use Shel Silverstein to lift you up during these times. Use any book, and including the Bible. Use any book to lift you up.
That's right.
Joe Silverstein, for those of you who don't know, is a poet of children's books, I believe, and the children's books are meant for adults too. So any book written by Shel Silverstein is one of my favorites.
Yeah, he's pretty phenomenal, or was, I should say.
Was.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And so, what is your morning routine?
My morning routine. That's a really good question. So lately I've been doing a lot of yoga, and I think with everything going on in the world, that makes sense. Um, it's really grounding for me. I meditate every day, whether it's 5 minutes or 30 minutes. Sometimes I meditate for an hour, but most days it's short. It's 5 to 20 minutes. And then, lately I've been working a lot, just really capitalizing on the opportunity and the time that we have. I'm learning a lot. And so I would say meditating, yoga, some journaling. Yep. And I think there's a real power in something that I learned a few years ago, and that's called it's an acronym, and it's SCRIBE. So, or I'm sorry, SMART is what it is. So S stands for silence. So I take a few minutes of silence, which is where I meditate. And then the M is movement. So I find some type of exercise, whether it's yoga or taking a walk or, push-ups, whatever it is. I take a few minutes a day in the morning, and I do some movement. And then A is attitude. I check in and I notice how's my attitude and if I need to make any adjustments. And then R is reading. I pick up a book, whatever book I'm interested in that day or have by my bedside, and I spend a few minutes reading. And then T stands for transferring, and it's like an acronym for me, like kind of an anchor. So it helps me remember to write things down. So T stands for the transferring of information. So that's when I write. I spend a few minutes and I journal or I write.
Well, that's awesome. And was this what's going on in the world right now a post, or did you do this pre? I'm presuming this was pre too.
I'm sorry, say that last part again one more time.
Did you do this morning routine pre the world shifting, pre coronavirus, or was this a new coronavirus routine for you?
Oh, that's a great question. No, I was doing it before. I definitely amped it up. Like I wasn't doing yoga before publicly. I was just doing it in my room, and I was taking that kind of time for myself. But since the coronavirus, I have actually started doing yoga online, and I started actually doing it on my for free on my personal Facebook page and my Instagram. And part of the reason is just because I feel like people really need it right now, and it's something that supports other people as well as myself. Like I actually really enjoy doing yoga with other people, and so when I see people popping up on the feed, it's pretty fun because I can check in with people, and it's like being in a class except at home. So it's pretty pretty nice.
Oh, yes, it is. And I have taken advantage of yoga. Again, me, yoga. And I thought, well, I might as well do it. I did it. A friend of mine out here teaches yoga, and she goes, when I'm hosting a free yoga class, why don't you come? And so I made it to yoga. I didn't do it I didn't do it this morning, but I made it to yoga on Saturday morning, and let me tell you guys, yeah, it was a eye-opening experience because right now with the world shifting the way it is, we need all the grounding we can get.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, what's really cool about it is that it's become something that's like a buzzword in not just America, but all over the world. Like people used to think that meditation and yoga used to be like this woo woo thing and it wasn't for, most people. And it's become like a staple. Like I'm, really happy and actually very honored to do the work that I get to do because I think it makes us all better. And I really do feel that the better our world and the more peace we have inside of ourselves, the better that we can be for other people. It's really important.
I agree. Now, as we wrap this interview up, do you have any questions for me?
I do actually, and I love that you asked because a lot of, I would say a lot of the podcasts that I'm on, they never ask that. So I think it's pretty awesome that, that you've offered that. And so I think one question I have of you is how do you stay so positive? Because the few times that I've heard you speak, I'm actually very inspired by your energy and just the way you show up. So I'd love to learn what you do.
Well, if you guys saw me today, you guys would have you guys would have thought, well, there's this positive wind dragging because I've been up since 7 a.m., but that's okay. But I stay so positive. I'm trying to limit my social media in the actions. I should say that. I'm trying to limit my social media news interactions because finding positive stuff is difficult right now. So, me, I want to help. I want to give. I want to help. People know this about me. My aides know it. People, my stepmom knows it, and so I want to give, I want to help, I want to be the beacon of light, especially now, and I want to be the doormat of people's stories, but at the same time, I have to control my energy and where I'm coming from, so that's why I speak on social media and then get off social media because I feel like if I sit on social media, and that's not good.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think social media is definitely something that can be very tricky for people. It's, it can become like a black hole, and in parts of my process it has. In fact, I have kind of like a tipping point when I know that I'm having too much because I start to I feel it. I really feel it. And so I think it's really important to know what's too much and what's appropriate for each one of us. Like we have to really have our measurements, like our own kind of like I call it like a barometer. And so,
Yeah.
I notice myself sometimes getting a little too addicted to it. And I'll be the first one to admit that sometimes I feel like I'm addicted to my phone, and people would have, I'm sure some of my friends and family would agree, but that's just where things are right now.
And that's where things are going to be in the next couple of months too, because of social distancing. I mean, my contact with the outside world is through a computer screen right now, and I'm not kidding when I say it's through a computer screen. The only people that I'm seeing on my stepmom and my aides.
Mm.
So I'm like, yikes, that's a little scary. But other than that, I'm talking to people through a computer screen, and I'm like, I need to, when this social distancing stops, whenever that will be, I'm thinking August. Thank you very much. Um, when this social distancing stops, I'm just gonna be the happiest kid on the planet because I can actually see people, actually hug them, and don't have to worry about what's next. But right now we are all in a holding pattern.
We are, and I think there's a lot of blessings in that. At the same time, like I think we're very fortunate that we have this time to reflect on what's important. I think, one of the things that isn't always easy to see it, but I really do feel that this situation and this time that we have right now, it is a gift. And I think we're very lucky to have this because it's like the universe is being reset.
Yep.
And yeah, and it's really easy for us to complain and make noise about it, but at the end of the day, we really do have an opportunity here, and I think it's in our best interest to be able to see that. And if we're able to see the gifts and have gratitude for what's going on, I think that we're going to be in a much, much better place.
I agree. Now, do you have any more questions for me?
I think, one of the other questions I'd have, and you kind of answered it already, but like what's your morning routine? I'd love to hear how do you start your days? I know
My
you said you start pretty early.
morning routine, only because I work, I'm in Mountain Time, so only because I work in Central Time, in Mountain Time, in the East Coast time. So my body clock is up at 6:30. I take a couple minutes for myself because by 8 a.m. my time, I have to be on. I have to be presenting myself. I cannot be in grumpy mood. And so if I don't take my time for myself and at least lift myself up, um, it's not happening. So what I tend to do is try to get the news in the best I can, but right now, via my smart speaker done by Amazon, I am finding that depressing because it's all about what's going on. It's all about the death rates. So I now put good news as the first skill on Amazon smart speaker because I need it. I can't go into national news without hearing good news. And so then I typically listen to a podcast after the news, and then I am up and usually ready to present myself to the world by 9 a.m. and with the help of aides, and I am pretty much able to present myself to my aides by 8 a.m.
That's awesome. That's really incredible because there's a lot of people that, especially right now, they're sleeping in. They're sleeping until like, who knows when, till noon.
Not
Not that there's anything wrong with that. I just think it's pretty amazing that for yourself, you've cultivated this fire within you, and you really, from the moment I met you, which I haven't physically met you yet, we haven't had that opportunity, but you've inspired me already in such an amazing way, just with the way that you are and the way you show up. It's pretty powerful.
Well, having an intellectual disability requires a lot of help. And so I need that time for myself to present myself to my aides to just say, yes, I have cerebral palsy and for a little while there, I was presenting myself to aides at 7:30 a.m. And so it's like, okay, 7:30 a.m. is a little too early for me, but I did it with a smile on my face. And so presenting myself to my aides at 8 a.m. I just feel like, okay. And so that's the way we all, and that's the way, and I'm a much better morning person than I am an afternoon person. By the afternoon, I'm exhausted because I'm burning 1,000. I don't know if you guys know this, but my assistant and I both burn 1,000 calories a day sitting up and conducting what and working just because of our neurological condition.
Wow.
And so I am skinny as well. I actually lost weight twice after once after my father died, and then I was told again once after. Well, I was told originally after my mom died. People could say it. After my dad died in May, I was told again I lost weight. So me maintaining weight is a little bit of a challenge because I'm not that big. I am only 5 foot, but I'm mighty. And so, and this is my personality off mic too. So, yep. So I just have to be mindful of my own energy and mindful of what I'm doing and how I'm conducting myself. Because, yeah.
That makes total sense. Makes total sense.
And so, Renee, where can people find you, and where can people get a hold of you?
Thank you so much. That's a great question. The best way to reach me actually is by texting the word yoga to 64600. That's a really good way to reach me. And I'm very easy to find on, I like to think I'm easy to find on Facebook and on Instagram. I'm on there, both of those platforms a lot. You can reach me at Yogi Real Estate Reg.
And remember, you guys, I know that, well, going through trials, tribulations right now, trust me, you're not the only one. I'm going through my trials and tribulations. But remember, you guys, there will be a $50 fee implemented in May. I don't care if you do it before the interview, after the interview. I don't care how you get it. Just get it to me, and then if you can't get it to me, I'm easily accessible and just explain why you can't get it to me. And if you're still out of a job, I completely understand because unemployment is taking a little bit of the time right now. I know that, and so, but just be aware that there is a $50 fee involved. I'm just setting you guys up for success. I'm not asking for it now. I'm asking for it in May, and that will go towards hosting fees, towards paying my editor, towards everything else to run this podcast. And so that is how it stands right now. But if you guys want to support me monetarily, 50 is what I'm asking. But if you can support me by sharing this episode out with your friends, and we'll see how it does. And then in May, the $50 fee is implemented. And so I hope you enjoy another fabulous episode of Ask Gwen with Regina. And I will see you guys later. Thanks, you guys. Bye. Make this world a happier, safer place. You guys. Bye, you guys.
Bye, everyone.
You just listened to Ask Win, the podcast. To become a guest in the show, visit our website at askwin.weebly.com or call 816-591-3399. Just look for Danielle. Connect with Win on Twitter at Win Kelly Charles and like our Facebook page at Butterflies of Wisdom. You can also purchase Win's book through Amazon.com or get a copy of the audiobook through Audible. Ask Win, the podcast.